So we are now going to get started with getting ready for Facebook's new business page opportunities. I'd like to first introduce the presenters for today. Greg Washington, President of Patients Unlimited Marketing Consultants, and Kathy Watkins, one of our social media specialists. They will be presenting the information on the Facebook's new business page. Greg?
Well, welcome everybody. I'm honored to start our session off, and I want to say we're at a very exciting juncture that is different. In our particular business, we love to be doing the things that we do in terms of search engine optimization and web development the way we used to do it because we save money. But now we've got to basically adapt, and everyone in the universe that's in this particular business will have to adapt. What I want to do is give a quick overview for Kathy to kind of give you a sense of what we want to cover. Now, this webinar is about Facebook, but in order to put it into perspective, we've got to talk about what Google has done, because essentially what Google has done is created the cadence for Facebook to try to one-up them. I want to point out some very important issues that deal with how you can protect the patients that you're already seeing, and most importantly, have a better result in directing people that you're not seeing today but are shopping to your website and to your practice. Then we're going to give you some next actions that you can take with Facebook. And by the way, these kind of go hand in hand with Google, so there's not necessarily a one trick gets it all done. And then we're going to suggest some things that can be done to your market plan to make the market plan more effective, and also give you something to do with regard to staff. Now, the realities are what we're talking about is somewhat a projection, but it is based on some extensive experience and research that we have done for more than 3 years on the social media impact. You can validate our research by simply doing a search on YouTube for cosmetic surgery social media marketing, and you'll see our first post was made 3 years ago. So we saw this coming, and our clients basically are, I think, buffered and ready to roll. Now, what's really happened? What's really happened is, and what's going to happen is, this war that's going on between these two parties has forced Google to change its whole marketing game plan. Heretofore, we basically have been able to optimize, that is, put your sites and your pages in better position, manipulating words, pictures, videos, and links. Well, that's changed because Facebook has become the big gorilla in the China closet, and what they're doing is saying, wait a minute, we know a lot about our users, and our users are using our device also as a search engine, and for practical purposes you really don't need Google. You can use us for everything. Well, that's kind of a powerful statement for someone to make. Now, what I did was I says, let me kind of think what's happened. We as consumers, your patients, were using products of Google and Facebook. Now their anonymity has become Google and Facebook's product. Think about that. All right, we don't know exactly what's going to happen on April 1, but the facts are some rollouts have already been done that are part of the Facebook rollout, and you're going to get some more specific information from Kathy and what you can do about it. But we do know that what Facebook is planning to do is going to be a one-up. Google and Facebook have enough information now that they can give us a, quote, better search experience. Translation, fewer leads coming in, but higher quality. Higher quality, but higher cost. Why higher cost? Because we now have a labor factor in here in order to maintain these impressions, the likes, the plus ones, etc. So we've got a factor here we can't get around. And we, as a web developer, search engine optimizer, marketing consulting firm, we can't do this for you. This is a factor that has to be either done for you by some outside expert, or you got to get some additional help, or possibly dedicate some staff to make this all happen. So your future today is based on, obviously, patient referrals from people that like you, that is, people that enjoy your services and refer their friends. But their friends are not going to have a slant of possibly gaining more information about you or more information about competitors in their neighborhood used by their friends that can actually impact you. Now, Kathy, I've kind of talked about more of a Google slant, but this announcement that just came out that we're referring to, can you give me a little feel for what this means in terms of the Facebook parlance?
Absolutely, Greg. Thanks so much. If you really think about what's happened to Facebook, and if you're on Facebook, you've probably seen the announcement that they're moving to a timeline. So when they move to a timeline, what are we talking about there? We're actually saying this is a new profile design, a new design that it actually launched last fall to a lot of people for their personal profiles, although I recognize it wasn't mandatory, so a lot of people didn't migrate over to their personal profiles to the timeline. Last week, Facebook announced as part of an overall marketing plan that they're doing that the timeline is now the design for your business profile, and you have up until April 1 to get it ready for that. So it's launched the very end of February. April 1, you will be seen in the Facebook timeline. Now, why would they change the design as part of the marketing plan? Well, the reason for that is that you do a lot of photos, you post videos, you do status updates, and when you do, think about how that you were trying to retrieve those. You had to scroll down the page and keep clicking on show older post to try to get back to a post that you did 3 months ago. This way it's actually easier navigation and retrieval. It's got a timeline over to the right, which looks very much like this picture, and you click on what time frame that you wanted, and then you're going to be able to see your post and your photos, so it makes it much, much easier. So let's take a look at PUMC's new Facebook timeline. Very first thing you notice is that we have a new cover photo. So new cover photo, a new profile picture. You may have been using the longer, or you've seen the longer sidebars on the profile pictures. No, you can't do the long sidebars any longer. It's just a small little square. And you also have your application boxes. So let's kind of start at the top and work our way through and talk about these new features and what we need to do. First thing we want to start with is the cover page, or your cover photo. When we're talking about your cover photo, this is going to replace your default landing page. So you need to look at what do you want people to see when they come to your page, because they're always going to come to your wall. You're not going to have a different place that you can send newcomers so they learn more about your company. It's got to be a landscape image. In this landscape image, you can have a picture of your brand, before and after photos, testimonials, an event. You can change these things out, so you don't have to have exactly the same cover all the time, but you want to make it match what you're promoting, what your message that you're conveying at that specific time. This is a great time to know what your audience responds well to. Are they moved by before and after photos, or will it be something else? And finally, we want to make sure that we follow Facebook's mandates on what we can't put in our cover photo. What can't we put in? We can't put a URL. We can't put email addresses, phone numbers, a call to action. We can't tell them, put the little like buttons, the share buttons to like and share our page. How do we reach these people? Well, we still have the same type of updates. So that means we still do status updates as text. We can do photos, videos, ask questions, events, links. It's all still the same when it comes to that. But there are lots of new features here for posts. So it's not like that it's the same old, same old. It is something that's a little different for us. So let's think about if we wanted to keep something up at the top. How many times have you entered information like you have an event coming up in 3 weeks, and so you do a post on it? Well, by next week it's way down on your wall so people don't see it. With the way that the timeline is now, you can actually pin it to the top, pin your status update to the top. When you do that, Every status update that you do after that will go below it, so it'll stay